With your type of business, you say you do private label and wholesale, you don't really deal with these kind of issues that reseller do, right?
Yeah, for the most part, we deal with separate issues nonetheless, but yeah, different issues than wholesale.
Let's talk about the wholesale issues. Say you're selling on Amazon, what kind of issues do you have with Amazon for selling the product?
Yeah, I would say, for selling the product on Amazon, the issue that you would find is the competitiveness, like competitive buy boxes, competitive niches, and just a competitive landscape. Sometimes certain suppliers already have relationships with certain dealers and they're not taking any more. So I would say that level of competition is definitely something that we see a lot of.
So do you have like a way to get around? So when the suppliers say we're not accepting any new e-commerce account, what would you do?
If a buyer is telling me that they're not taking any more e-commerce seller accounts, then I would usually just keep them in my document of Excel sheet of suppliers that just pretty much said us no. It's a preliminary no to me. It's not really like a final no. At least we have a relationship. See, at least they have some rapport with us and recognize us so that when we do come back down the line, they know that we've been more consistent. So it's just a delayed yes, in my opinion. So I usually just collect those no's and save them for later. Maybe just do some email blast before we put them into the funnel to contact later. I'll just follow up, what their reasons we're not partnering with anymore, or what are some things that they wish their current sellers could improve upon, pain points. So pretty much just trying to ask them, where things can be improved upon with their current sellers or dealers, just to provide some opportunity to provide solutions to them.
Some of the things you just said there that I heard also is like you want to still offer them value, but you want to figure out what exactly their concern is. Why are they
Right.
like not taking any more e-commerce sellers? Sometimes
Mm-hmm.
they just tell you like we don't like them, but sometimes you'd be like
Right.
how to even get around this to show them that you're a serious business, right?
Exactly. Yep.
That's pretty interesting. What about on the Amazon side? Do you have any listing issues or any kind of like account house issues with wholesale?
So only listing issues you would have is if you are listing the item maybe incorrectly, or you don't have the right map pricing from the wholesaler or dealer. That is probably the extent of issues I would say we have with listings at this point.
You
Yeah,
never got any
anything.
IP complaints?
I mean, yeah, I've had IP complaints in the past, but once you deal with certain dealers that you have a strong relationship with, I don't really see that often anymore.
So you're saying once you bought inventory from a dealer, they pretty much vet you and tell the brand you're selling
Yeah.
the brand they're selling, and you tell the brand to not IP you, basically?
Right, exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, the brand, I just never had these situations where the brand does not have that relationship with the wholesalers I'm dealing with to do an IP complaint.
That's pretty interesting.
Yeah. Because if the wholesaler knows the brand that they're dealing with and they're a legitimate wholesaler, then there
Yeah.
should be no reason why, from us purchasing from them, there's a IP complaint. Especially when they know that the wholesaler is distributing to other retailers, wholesalers.
There are wholesalers who are selling to other Amazon sellers. You pretty much know once you land the account. Say if you found another Amazon seller's account, they're buying wholesale products, you know right away to reverse source the other suppliers, basically. Do you still buy from that wholesaler if they're selling to other Amazon sellers?
Yeah, I would. Especially if they have reasonable beliefs. I don't see a reason why not to.
I see. So I think most people, when the seller is starting to get into wholesale, they start to just calling each supplier and starting to get price sheets, but then they found out they're just not profitable at all. What would you suggest them to do?
If the products are not profitable at all, well, I'll say at that point they have two decisions. Whether one is to still purchase the product, see how they can offer a new bundle type of deal with some different items in the catalog. If buying at a certain quantity will lessen the price, or maybe, in hopes of maybe that by the second order you can negotiate a better cost per piece. But it's either those three options if you're deciding to still purchase it, or just move on to another supplier that has a better price sheet, right? I know some suppliers are better than others, but I think it's just important to have an action plan as to why you're purchasing and what's the long-term goal of what you plan on doing with this purchase. Because like I said, you're right. Some items, some suppliers' price sheet are not as robust as others, but that doesn't mean that there isn't some potential there.
Would you like buy a product to lose money to build a relationship?
So at this point, no. When I first started off, yes, I would. I would definitely. I was more open-minded to that because it was more of a novel concept. I wanted to see that, hey, I can actually partner with suppliers that I can sell through, make some revenue at least. At this point, no, I'm not willing to do that. It would have to be a really, really good brand or product that is really compelling to me to do that, and use my cash flow for that investment. I think at this point I have opportunities and other wholesale price sheets that I wouldn't need to do that. I would try to find a way to either bundle deal with multiple products that I'm going to buy from their price sheet and negotiate for a cheaper cost altogether and make that more cost effective for me, or like I said, just step away from that.
That's pretty nice. I think a lot of people need to know that it's not dead end when you get a price sheet that's just not profitable. A lot of people just straight up just move on and they just get frustrated and complain about not being able to get good deals from those wholesalers. Yeah, but there's definitely ways to make money, either doing wholesale, doing OA, or doing private label. So as for each of these businesses, OA is definitely easier to get started because there's not much upfront cost. What would you say is the upfront cost to get into wholesale or private label?
To get into a wholesale or private label, I would say the upfront costs, you would want to be prepared to start off with somewhere from like 2,000 to 4,000 to be comfortable. But I will say I've seen it been done with 1.5K, especially if you can just put down the down payment and then just recoup those funds as your product is being built and manufactured. So I would say 2K to give yourself as many options as possible for different ideas and different product leads.
That's for private label?
For both, because a lot of wholesalers are going to require you to order a large quantity to make your first order. Just to show how serious you are. So for a $1,500 order, I've seen a lot of suppliers recently require a lot more in their initial order. So I would say 1,500 to 3,000 to 4,000 is a safe bet. But because I've just seen it happen, done so many different ways, I don't want to put a strong number on it, but I think that's a pool to be in.
That's actually very surprising to me because I think wholesale you need at least 10K to even put in a PO because 1.5K or 2K you can only put towards one SKU. But usually suppliers want you to buy their entire product line or something. All the SKUs in one product line, there's going to be at least 10, 12, 20 products. You need to buy like boxes or cases or pallets of them. That usually just goes over the budget by a lot.
Right, right. And I have come into to face with suppliers that asked that when they were first starting off the partnerships. But for me, I was always deterred by that because, like you said, it's just so much of a steep investment. I was just always just mindful of my cash flow and just where I'm testing out my cash. Is like I wanted to try different suppliers as I can, even though I know wholesalers require more, but some wholesalers wouldn't require you to buy their whole catalog, and I feel like that's such a steep investment and it kind of ties you down, especially if you don't. Well, I wasn't as savvy with getting capital back then, so that was a restriction of mine. So I would definitely say you want to just make sure that you can partner with wholesalers that are a little more liberal with you buying a smaller quantities when you're first starting off.
So that takes a lot of time to calling them up and trying to talk to them and getting them to know what they can offer, basically. And it's a volume game, right? You have to call hundreds
Yes,
of suppliers
absolutely. Yep.
until you even find one that's fitting your criteria.
Yep. A volume game for sure. Because even when I was coaching my program, we were doing a wholesale deep dive, and I was telling them to really get more results. You really just have to just do more numbers. I'm saying do more outreach. Keep track of how many wholesalers and leads you're finding per week, and making sure that you're hitting a certain number. Whether it's 100 you want to reach a week, or 200 a week, and then that out of those 200, 100 or so will actually accept you into getting their price sheet and their catalog sheet. Maybe like 50 or so of those will actually have decent items within those catalogs, and maybe another, let's say 10 actually you end up purchasing or have items that you can actually are in stock or are competitive. So just understanding that sometimes there's a lot of obstacles in the way. And like you said, if you apply the numbers game, then a matter of probability, you're going to find those key suppliers that are going to be effective.
So as for finding suppliers, there's a talk about like going Google deep dive, which is just searching for suppliers, typing in the Google search bar, looking for wholesale distributors in a results list. Or is there a better way that people do? You go to like brand direct, trying to get them to give you a list of authorized wholesalers, or what do you do?
Yeah, I think that method is completely fine. I feel like the basic Google search method has worked for me plenty of times to find leads to contact. At this point, I'm very open-minded in terms of finding leads for wholesale suppliers because you can just find them in any kind of situation, whether you're just, going throughout your day. And I live in a city where there's a lot of ports and a lot of different companies that come to and from and purchase a lot of products from wholesale from overseas. So I always see a lot of different trunking companies that I can attach myself to or add to my list of potential suppliers to lead to reach out to. So there's that. There's Google Maps searches, trade shows. Literally just the Google searches is more than enough for people to really start getting leads to start contacting, right, and start following up on. The other methods are also useful too. think there's other softwares used to pull wholesale supply from the website. ChatGPT is also useful as well too with the searching of the web feature if you have the ChatGPT 4.0.
That's very interesting. When we do this kind of things, open a wholesale account, do you make sure they're like authorized before you go reach out, or just you try to call them anyways?
Make sure that they're authorized with the brand.
Yeah.
I think when I call them and when I have more of a rapport with them, that's when I get into discussions of their level of authorization with the brands.
Gotcha. For anyone want to make 10K a month, they can start any of these business models pretty much with
Right.
just 1.5K or 2.5K saved up. And wholesale, I would say take like 3 months. Repetitive, just following up, calling people. And for
Hmm.
people to do OA, I think they would take, depending on the learning curve, typically people take between 4 to 6 weeks to get to their first 10K. And for private label, that's an entirely different game. I don't really know too much about. For you, you said 1.5K to go to a manufacturer, order products, and get them to Amazon. What other things are required for a person to start private label to sell on Amazon and get their first 10K?
You're going to need Helium 10 software, which is a software that we use to pull data on consumer behavior and how many their search trends, what competitors are making per month, a bunch of other relevant tools with private label. But Helium 10 is definitely an essential software you're going to need. So that's around $90 per month. And I would say those two, because we know we don't need an LLC when we're starting off a private label brand. We don't need a trademark. We don't need a brand or a logo. It would be nice to have those things, but not really necessary when you're first starting off. All you need to do to start off really is just the investment fund, the investment amount for your first inventory, right? Your first inventory amount. Keep it very bare bones. I try to keep it very simple as possible. Especially because depending on what private label product you end up choosing and launching, maybe around like 2,000 or 3,000, right? I've seen it happen, but I've also seen private label products that people first launch that cost less than 1,000. So it really depends on what first product you end up launching, how you differentiate it, what the cost per unit will be, and that will really give us a better inference on how much your final cost will be. But I would say it would be fair to say 1,500, same thing as wholesale, from my opinion.
That's pretty interesting. You don't need a brand registry, you don't need like a trademark, you don't need any of that. You can add them later. Do you run ads?
Yes, you don't need them now. You can always add those later. And you asked if I run ads.
Yes. So when you
Yeah,
run
yeah.
ads, do you need a trademark or you don't need it at all?
When I run ads, I don't need a trademark. No, no, you don't need ads. You don't need a trademark to run ads. I always run ads whenever I launch a new product. And yes, whenever I launch a new product, I'm usually running at least 3 ads on it. And I'm always running ads every second of every day. I'm always continuously growing and launching ads because that's, to me, the most effective way to really improve your product's exposure and get the most sales as you possibly can.
Okay, you say you run 3 ads. Could you briefly explain like what each ad is for? Like why is three?
The 3 ads I run is one, the auto campaign, which is the most preliminary campaign you can launch on Amazon's platform. It pretty much just gives Amazon the liberty to showcase your product in a whole bunch of different ad spaces and like I said, improve the exposure of your product so it's in front of more customers' faces as well as the first and foremost product that they see when they're scrolling down. So it really makes a huge difference in, like I said, click-through rate, exposure rate, especially as a new seller when you don't have the reviews, consumer trust. Leveraging that auto campaign is going to give Amazon the capability of putting your product in front of different keywords and front of different products that are highly relevant to you and target the ideal customer and thus increasing sales. That's the first campaign, auto campaign, right? And then the next campaign, we're using manual keyword exact. So what that does is we're targeting keywords exactly as customers are searching them up. Let's say I was selling some frog socks, right? If a consumer is searching up frog socks, that word, and I'm targeting in that campaign frog socks, Amazon knows to make my product show up first when the consumer searches that up. And because that keyword is directly relevant to my product, we know that's going to lead to a higher rate of conversion. So we definitely want to utilize manual keyword exact target match. That's the campaign that's the most effective out of all the campaigns I usually launch because the targeting is so precise and I can target exactly exactly what I know my customers are looking for when they search on my product, right? So definitely want to launch that. And then lastly, I want to target product target campaign, which is I'm allowed to target the top competitors in my niche so that, a lot of my top competitors who already have a lot of page views, a lot of traffic, I can now have my product be shown on their listing, which will, like I said, ultimately increase my exposure and give me a high probability of getting conversions.
So you use their keywords basically, so not really relevant to your product, but you can use their keyword to get on the traffic that they use.
I'm using their page listing. So if you see any Amazon listing, usually when you're on Amazon listing, if you scroll down, there's other products that Amazon recommends to you.
Yeah.
Those products are pretty much ad spaces, right? They're paying to be there
Yeah,
because they
sponsored
want to be
products.
recommended.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So that's where we're placing it. So we're targeting specific products that we know are relevant to us because that customer, if they're searching up for that product, is also going to be looking at my product potentially.
It's all pretty interesting. And where do you get those keywords, Helium 10?
Yes, Helium 10. That's why Helium 10 is very important because not only does it provide the consumer data in terms of how much, competitors are making per month, how much consumers are searching up this keyword per month, but also give me the exact keywords that are giving my competitors the most value, the most sales, the most keywords. So, and then we can then extract that information and put it into my campaigns.
The Helium 10 sounds awesome, man. Like they give you
Yeah, it's a
basically
must. It's a must.
streamline the entire ad campaign, just give you
Hmm.
everything, and you just
Yeah,
need to
and it's
set it up.
Helium 10 and
How much do you spend on per click usually to launch a product?
nowadays, my cost per click is averaging around 35 cents. I try to stay
That's
fairly
cheap.
frugal.
Wow.
Yeah, and you can control your bid, so you can be very intentional with how frugal you want to be and how aggressive you want to be with your ad strategy.
So on Amazon, is it the same as Facebook ads? The more you spend, the more reach you get?
As long as you're spending correctly and you're looking at your campaigns and they're being distributed to certain targets that are actually giving you clicks and conversion, then yes, that's essentially what you want to do. So you want to make sure we have a good return on ad spend first before we start ramping up our total ad spend and scale our conversions. So I definitely focus on testing frugally with lower bids, making sure I'm finding the right keywords that are converting efficiently with a high return on ad spend, and then I scale up with my budget.
That's nice. So what's typical ROAS you're looking for?
Typical ROAS goal at the floor minimum is two. I want to get at least two times as much as I'm spending on ads. And if a campaign or a keyword is not hitting that threshold, then there needs to be changes.
So you find the right keywords, then you just go increasing the bid on these keywords. Do you put them together in one campaign, or you can launch multiple campaigns for each keyword?
I do multiple campaigns for multiple keywords. I do different strategies for certain products depending on how they're performing. But typically, I'm putting maybe 30 to 50 in a campaign. I could do keyword exact. I could do keyword broad and phrase match. I could do a category match with maybe 30 or 40 different targets. At this point, I've been doing ad campaign strategies for the past 4 years. So I have different ways of compiling campaigns to provide different results depending on what's working, what's not. So yeah, I do play around with that. Yes.
That's nice. So is it like safe to kind of assume that you take your Amazon PPC learnings and go to meta ads, and they also worked out pretty well for you, right?
So I definitely learned ads through Amazon ads. That's how I run Google ads for my Shopify account. That's how I do meta ads for my Shopify account as well too. And TikTok ads, henceforth, all these other platforms, very similar. Walmart ads as well too. But I would say yes. I use those learnings to perform on those other platforms. But Meta ads does not convert as good as Amazon ads. I would say, from my opinion, Amazon ads is convert the best in Google than Meta. In my opinion, I think Meta is not as efficient return on ad spend wise. Just in my opinion, my experience.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Since like Meta, they are very pride with their massive database, their AI algorithm with
Mm,
the ads and stuff. But that's pretty cool.
yeah,
Yeah, you could even just like sell the strategy you create ad campaigns on like Amazon or
yeah,
anywhere else
yeah.
and make 10K a month. That's
Yeah, I definitely want to
like you have like
build
so
out
much
that
like
side.
skills. You can sell each individual skill into a course and make 10K a month easily.
Yeah, I plan on doing that soon, or just trying to separate the ads campaign because I know that's definitely something. Like I said, I've been like I outsource a lot of things in my business, but the ads I still do myself. just because, like I said, it's been like the bread and butter of my business. It's definitely been something that I've focused on. I think it's definitely been pivotal to a lot of my product success. So I definitely take it more seriously than other components of my business. So I definitely want to deliver more of a separate course just on that. And like I said, different platforms as well too, Google ads, TikTok ads, Walmart ads, and see how I can,
If you have a skill, you have a talent, you can transform it into like a service or a course and teach somebody else, give them value, and sell them like 10K a month. Like you don't, at the end of the day, like once you get into Amazon, there's just like so much moving parts you're learning that you not only learn how to do product selection, how to like properly deal with Amazon, like how to deal with suppliers and how to manage your cash flow. All these things that once you do Amazon for like a few years, you're starting to understand how to scale your business. When you start to scale your business, you're pretty much a master of each individual component.
That's
Then you
true.
can teach that to somebody else and sell them a course. At the end of the day, you don't need to make money just on Amazon. There's so many ways to make money all around you. Like everything around you is made of money.
I agree. Like, and that's one of the main things that keeps me excited and enthused about this industry. You know, every day I work in it. I'm saying there's always something to learn, always something to get better at, and I always learn things with the intention of knowing that I'm going to teach it later on, right? So it always gives me more motivation to actually learn it and get over the learning curve, and also know it's going to double pay out or kill two birds with one stone as me being able to teach it later on. So and being an asset to others. So yeah, absolutely, I agree.
I have similar thoughts, but when I learn some stuff, it's like the more I learn, the more out there is that I don't know. Like there's just so much out there I don't know. Once I learned how to do like the FBM shipping stuff, but then I learned
Yeah.
in terms of like getting the shipping price to like lower it. Amazon is not the only option. You can go offer like pirate ship, you can do like ship station, you can even go directly to the carrier to like get a deal for you. On our last call, we had a seven-figure Walmart seller on
Nice.
here, and so what he does is he goes to FedEx and get a account with them. You don't even need to have history with them. You can just get an account with them and get a rep and tell them you want their one rate shipping, which is like FedEx. This is a new service. They do 2 day shipping anywhere in the country for 2 days. It's like the UPS second day air. It's pretty fast, and they do it for half the price what UPS does.
Okay.
So it's pretty decent. So what he's telling me is that he can ship anything that's between 5 to 15 pounds to anywhere in the country in 2 days for only $11 to $12 per package.
That's awesome. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy, right? So now that I learned this stuff from like just connecting to other people, they're doing some stuff that I don't
Yeah.
know. It's absolutely amazing, especially
And
when
that's why it's good to connect with other people. Yeah.
yeah, the network is what makes you money at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
It's very inspirational, man. Very good to hear from you for that on that one. But let's get it back to the topic of this call, which is how to make 10K sales a month as on Amazon as a beginner. So as for me, like what we do is OA products, and we do OA leads, and we had it broke down very, very simple to anyone. It's basically if you want to do OA on Amazon and do your first 10K a month, you need three things. It's very simple. It's leads, capital, and information, and that's all you need to scale to 10K a month.
Right.
And most people struggle to find leads. It's because spend so much time trying to navigate all the moving parts. But when you realize there are services like us, you pay for a small price, then you can get leads daily. Especially for people who are working 9 to 5, this is a great option for them. And as for wholesale, you said you can take 1.5K to like 3K, but you have to go through tons of suppliers to get a deal that fits your criteria and start making money.
Right.
So that may take a bit longer. For some people, they might get lucky, it take 1 month, but some people they can take 3 to 6 months to even land their first wholesale deal. And I think it takes a level of mental caliber to go through with the process, to not give up. And that's one of the biggest things doing this business, like don't get discouraged because you don't succeed in the time frame that you expected. And I think a lot of people need to understand that everybody's showing their orange bars on Instagram, on TikTok, whatever. It looks great on paper, but you don't know how much work they put in beforehand to even get there. This is not like a get rich quick scheme. The work you need to put in and you need to show up, you need to be consistent to succeed.
I agree. Everything is just a consistency game, no matter what business model you use, and whether it's private label, arbitrage, wholesale. I find that whenever I was consistent at one thing or one business model for a long period of time, I just focus, zero in on that. You're gonna find progress, you're gonna gain traction, and like everything else, there's always obstacle. Each of these business models have their pros and cons, and the more you're just willing to accept that and just still go henceforth, the faster you'll see progress. I think that's the ultimate advice and the best advice we can give our peers as coaches in the space is to be solution based and just be progressive, and you're gonna find success.
Yeah, for real. And there's one thing that we basically know for any skill that you learn, you can easily transfer it to a different industry because they all
Right.
works pretty similar. Like for
Mm-hmm.
example, like the top Fortune 500 companies, some of them have very successful portfolios, and they all focus on saving other people's time. And that's one of the biggest things that when you're selling a service solution to someone, you're focusing, eventually you want to save their time.
Right, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And that's what we're doing with our information and our experience and our guidance. It's based off of years of meticulous, training and testing and just overall experience. So that's the best thing you can give a new seller. Like, here's all the things you shouldn't do, and here's the best way to do it.
Yeah, for real. Give them like a plan, a success plan that
Yeah,
like selling on Amazon is not hard at all. It really isn't. It just when people are getting into all these sorts of informations online, they tend to get lost. But selling on Amazon, you just need one community that gives you the best information. For example, like CometLeads or like yours, that you have the success, you put up the in front to tell them, hey, I can do this, you can do it too.
exactly.
It's
I agree.
it's not that hard, and selling 10K is probably when I first started selling 10K was like 10K a month. That's like unreachable. Like I've never seen that big a number of sales in my life. But once you start doing it, you realize with Amazon they already built this efficient platform for you. They build a customer base for you. All you need to do is just find the right product, sell them, and get enough capital to rinse and repeat the process.
Exactly.
Yeah, so selling 10K is not hard. It's not only you need leads, but also you need capital and
Mm-hmm.
good information to get started. And with private label and wholesale, those are, in my opinion, are safer ways to sell on Amazon because you're working directly with a brand authorized dealer, or you're working directly with the manufacturer. You'll be your own brand, and then Amazon will typically will not come after you with any account health issues. In case you didn't know, like for OA, we did OA for many years, and we experienced like all kinds of account health issues, like just restricted listings, IP complaints, or inauthenticity complaints. We get those a couple times a few months. Like for resellers, the Amazon landscape is a bit risky, but we still try to break through it by providing people with vetted leads, the things that we already bought, built based on our experience, the money we spend, so we can give to people. Sell this and don't sell that. Like you said,
Right.
do this and don't do that. You will succeed.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you put it pretty simply. Put it pretty simple.
Thanks, bro. And for people who want to find you, where do they get your program, and what's your Instagram?
Yeah, so you guys can find me at Slight Flex. That's where you just see me, posting stuff about Amazon or just describing some of the things that I do with private label, wholesale, arbitrage. Yeah, I have a community where I train other people on how to make their first $10,000 a month. I've had a few people, hit that goal within the past few weeks. Had someone also hit the $100,000 within a year goal, so that's been really exciting. So yeah, that's what I pretty much do full time now. Like you guys know, I've been selling on Amazon 4 years now, and this is what I plan on doing for the foreseeable future. Just keep scaling up my business, my wholesale business, and my private label business, and just continue to network, continue to meet more people, and continue to learn, continue to do more calls like this.
For real,
So I appreciate you, man,
we're definitely gonna run more calls like this. In a couple months, we can circle back again to
for sure.
check in how each other's progress are. And
Hmm.
can you sort of like briefly talk about what kind of offers you have for your community for people to sell 10K on Amazon?
Yeah, so I have an ebook offer right now that I'm offering that's very low ticket. It's only $30. It's like all three of my ebooks that teaches you on how to get started with private label, how to get started with wholesale, and how to get started with online arbitrage. So it's a three full book guide bundle deal. Really could have priced it higher, but I really just wanted to give people an intro to all the different business models that I leverage to make money on Amazon. Then you can definitely start off there. And then I have my group mentorship, which is right now we're pricing at 2,000. So um, that's uh, that's the current rate we have for the next. I think we have about five more spots uh, for this upcoming session. So that's the two offers I currently have, and yeah, that's where they can find me.
So the 2000 is for wholesale and private label, or just
Yeah,
each?
yep, yep,
Together,
both of them.
okay. And
Yep.
this is like a group coaching, not
Yeah,
one-on-one?
this is like a group coaching. Yeah, so you still have access to me for weekly calls every Thursday, 6 p.m. Eastern. So, and you're also able to get onboarded with me for the first 2 weeks.
Okay, so for people who are listening, 2K for the program and also another 1.5K to 2K for the startup cost. Is that sounds about right?
Yep, that's correct. That's right. Absolutely right.
And according to your experience, how long does the members in your group usually take to get 10K a month?
Um, I, I would say less than 3 months, sometimes four, less than 3 months.
Okay, so is this for both wholesale and private label?
Correct.
That's pretty decent time frame. 90 days. Work 90 days and you get freedom for life.
Yes, sir. That's an easy transaction where people just got to believe in themselves and get to it, get
Yeah,
to work.
believe
There's a
the
lot of money to be
process.
made. Yep.
Believe the
Hmm.
process.
Absolutely.
And so, what about like for people who don't have a lot of capital to spend? What method do you
I have the low
recommend?
ticket offer, which is a $30 ebook bundle. That's probably a good place for people to start off with a lower ticket.
Can I ask like why do you pick ebook, not like videos pre-recorded?
I have videos as well too, but that's for the higher ticket offer.
I see.
Yeah.
That's pretty nice. I'm glad, man, you're like succeeding online with all sorts of ways, and hope to.
Nah, I appreciate you, man. Too kind. Too kind. Nah, I just been, trying to hustle, trying to spread the knowledge. That's all it is. But nah, I really do appreciate the call. I really do appreciate the opportunity.
What What's your goal, say, for 2025? Do you have a New Year resolution?
I would say my goal for 2025, if we can try to hit consistent, 100K months, consistent, maybe 120K months, that would be a good end the year with 120K a month consistently. Or yeah.
That's sales or profit?
Let's do profit.
Wow,
Let's do profit. Yeah.
wow, that's some big numbers there.
Yeah, man. You gotta aim high.
Yeah, 120K
You gotta aim
profit.
high. Yeah.
Not just from Amazon business, or are you talking about like all combined, everything combined?
All combined. All combined.
That's doable. That's really
Hmm.
doable. Yeah, I heard your meta ads is converting pretty good for
Yeah,
your
it's doing pretty decent. I can't really complain about
yeah.
it. Okay.
You get it, man. Like uh, I'm pretty sure about that, and especially with like the current opportunity of the internet landscape, selling the course, selling knowledge is one of the best ways to make money online.
Right. I agree for sure.
Yeah, so I appreciate you being here,
Yeah,
man.
man. No, I
I won't take
appreciate
too
you,
much of
man.
your time, and I hope we
No, I
can
agree.
get on a different call next time on a bigger
Uh,
platform.
yeah. Yeah, for sure, for sure. I think maybe I'll probably host you next time.
All right, man. Thank you for being here. I really hope you have a good day.
You too, man. I appreciate you, Lawrence, and thank you everybody else who joined.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
See ya.